I was introduced to this owner of a company by an EOS implementer, and the company was really struggling with the need to grow revenue. They were negatively impacted by the pandemic. As a result, they had had flat revenue growth and never really recovered from that. Many of their customers had to shut down or were locked down during that pandemic. And again, even though those customers came back online, this business just struggled. They had a sales leader in place who was competent, but just didn't have the tools in place to be successful. So during an initial discovery call, we talked about what this organization needed and what was kind of the motivation for having a conversation with me, quite frankly. This owner had shared with me that he really needed to grow revenue, and that if he didn't, the company was going to suffer some pretty negative consequences. He was also motivated to really do whatever it took to turn sales around. So what we did is we did an analysis of the sales organization. So I had the senior management team as well as the sales team, and anyone really touching sales take an assessment. That was followed up by an hour interview where we went in deep about the assessments. I also looked at 3 years worth of documentation, looking at things like comp plans, looking at pipeline reports, looking at performance reviews. I wanted to get an understanding of how strong their sales pipeline was. And what really came out of that was 5 key areas that this organization needed to prioritize and focus on if they wanted to grow revenue. And they fully bought into what needed to take place to do that. And so one of the things that we first started was identifying their sales strategy, taking a look at who are their ideal customers that they should be going after. We also looked at the industry in general. We looked at the competitors that were in that industry. We did a thorough competitive analysis on them and really figured out what was the position for their offering in this particular marketplace. We built up a unique value proposition and then really ran hard at that particular market. We also looked at the sales methodology, and what I mean by that is that we looked at what was the messaging for this particular market. What were the qualification criteria that needed to be in place? How did the salespeople handle objections? And then we looked at the sales process, and we built out a sales process for them that really defined what each step in that sales process, where a particular prospect was, and we had agreement around that. More importantly, what needed to happen for a prospect to move down that sales pipeline. We also implemented a CRM system and incorporated that sales process in the new CRM system. There was some hiring that needed to take place, so I helped with writing the job descriptions, writing the onboard plans to set up that salesperson for success, but also to protect the company from a bad hire, if you will. And then really move forward with the idea of training and coaching. Worked with the sales leader, helped mentor him, and helped train the sales team to be more effective at what they're doing as they deal with customers. This company is on track to produce anywhere from a 25 to a 30% increase in revenue growth in that first year, and that's organic revenue growth. Additionally, the culture of the organization is really a buzz because the organization is growing and there's an excitement about being part of it. I'm a firm believer that people want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and they see that within this organization. The owner is freed up to focus more strategically on the business, which is a big plus. And then finally, within the sales team, there's a culture of accountability, there's a culture of professionalism, and ultimately there's a culture of execution as this organization is driving revenue growth.